Most people who get COVID-19 do recover, and we'll hear one person's story tonight. But a beloved grandmother and a vibrant 51-year-old father are among the first Canadian victims of the virus, and their families are now sharing their grief. Heather Yourex-West reports.
Sean Cunnington had been feeling sick for several days, but when he sought treatment at a hospital in Milton, Ontario, no one suspected the father of three might be suffering from COVID-19.
They looked him over and told him he had pneumonia and I guess sent him home.
Cunnington's symptoms never improved. He went back to the hospital days later and was put into intensive care. By the time a test confirmed the 51-year-old had the virus, he was dead.
He just released a song not that long ago on Spotify and Apple Music, and unfortunately, he won't unfortunately be here to see it do well.
Cunnington had chronic leukemia, so he was more vulnerable than most to the illness. But what's most concerning is officials have no idea how he got it. In Quebec, 82-year-old Mariette Tremblay died after contact with a recent traveler. On Facebook, her family asked that people follow recommendations to stay home. We didn't get a chance to save Grandma, but you have the chance to make a difference now that we know.
I just kept sleeping and coughing and not having any appetite.
74-year-old Karen Schumacher was awaiting test results for COVID-19 when she finally called 911. The BC woman developed a cough weeks after returning from a cruise, but her daughter says it was days before doctors were able to confirm that Schumacher had COVID-19.
The isolation was really hard for her because not only was she not getting any answers, she was feeling really, really sick really fast.
I remember asking one of the nurses when I was first at the hospital, am I going to die from this? Because that was my fear.
Schumacher spent several days in hospital on oxygen before her condition improved. Her diagnosis was confirmed just before she was cleared to go home. She's now recovering in isolation, unsure of how long she'll have to stay there. Heather Yourex-West, Global News, Calgary.
Among those at greatest risk from this virus are the people who take care of us. When the rest of us stay home, they go to work. To honor their dedication, there are calls for Canadians to open their windows or step outside to applaud all the doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers. Eric Sorensen reports on the essential workers called to duty in this dangerous time.
Their jobs are difficult in ordinary times. Frontline workers overlooked for the comfort they bring and the risks they take. In this extraordinary moment, we are reminded of their simple bravery. In China, Dr. Li Wenliang sent out the early warning, then stood his ground in the face of COVID-19 and then died. The outpouring for him a recognition of the sacrifice that would soon be required all over the world. In this country, health workers are answering that call. Nurses in Ontario, retired, part-time, full-time, more than 4,000 have responded.
I am not surprised that my colleagues have stepped up to the plate in this amazing way. I am inspired by them.
Frontline workers warned us the healthcare system wasn't fully ready for this, but now that a pandemic is upon us, they're swallowing their frustration and staring down their fears.
I think there is fear. I think that's normal. But I also think that there's a sense of duty. This is what we trained for.
Remember the first responders on 9/11? When people fled the Twin Towers, firefighters ran in. Today, those are the healthcare workers. In Italy, more than 2,600 have been infected. In the hardest hit countries of Europe, Italy, Spain, Paris. The appreciation has been genuine and spontaneous. The troops going to this war are inspiring musicians.
You and me, we're still here.
From Bono to Yo-Yo Ma. The doctors, nurses, social workers, emergency responders, all of them know what they're getting into. And any one of us could soon find ourselves looking up from a bed to say, help me, and thank you for being here. Eric Sorensen, Global News.
We know you have lots of questions about this virus. Jeff will continue to consult with experts and try to answer them. So email your questions at globalnews.ca. On our website, you'll find a special page dedicated entirely to the new coronavirus. That's at globalnews.ca/coronavirus.